Hello, welcome to Series 1, Module 3. What is the Wheel of Wealth and how do you complete it? And so many people suffer financially because this was never really taught to any of us. And that's also probably why it always seems like an uphill battle when it comes to the subject, or better yet, the acquisition of money and wealth in most people's lives. And so this module, I want to walk you through a very key and core concept called the Wheel of Wealth. And this is something that every student and every investor in the Trust Your Talent Academy community focus on. This is how you create your personal GPS in the long term. And just so you know, the reason why we focus so much on these fundamental components right now for Series 1 is because at Trust Your Talent, our core belief, my wish and my hope, and how we structure the entire training is to make sure that this is a long-term sustainable life skill that you are getting from all of your training from us. So what that really means is at some point, you're going to be able to fully independently operate on your own after the initial training, handholding, mentoring, coaching process is done. Because it's like the saying, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, and if you teach the man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And that's exactly what we want to do. And more importantly, personally, I want to create Trust Your Talent Academy to become the Harvard of financial education, meaning that we focus on quality and longevity, and that can only happen when we create successful students, successful investors, and successful stories and long-term results for everyone. So here we go, the Wheel of Wealth. There are three different what I call income buckets within the Wheel of Wealth. The first part is earn/active income. The second bucket is passive/residual. And the third one here is portfolio/equity. Earned income, passive income, I think most of us, Canadians especially, we understand it as our job income. By the way, for those of you who have not heard the acronym, we call job, sometimes you hear me actually spell out the word a lot of times, actually, not just sometimes, J-O-B, it means just over broke. Because that's what it feels like when we are just collecting single paychecks. And that's probably also why these days it's so common, even though you're not a student anymore, for so many people to have more than one T4 incomes, just because inflation, cost of goods, services, everything is going up, 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 up. And so we need more than one T4 to actually sustain that. Ultimately, though, what this means is that we are constantly trading hours for dollars. And that's why it can feel very exhausting over time because there are only 24 hours a day. And so, yes, we know we want to make a living at the same time. What about all the other aspects of life? And this is where passive income really comes in. However, when we were all growing up, I don't know about you, for me personally, the concept of passive or residual income was never really introduced to me. This was a very, very new idea when I first came across it. However, once I got it, I could not stop thinking about it. And that's really what encouraged and inspired me to take action, to really explore how I can actually create that for myself so that I can either improve my life standards, my living standards, do more things that I want to do without having to worry about money, than just relying on a single source of income. And so initially, I did just want to complement my T4 income. And more on that later when you get to my stories. And the next part here is portfolio and equity income. If you were taught fairly well and you actually do follow those plans, we work, we spend, and usually whatever is left, we put it into some sort of savings or investments like the majority of the population does right here in Canada. And those common savings or investment vehicles are our SPs, our retirement savings plan, our TFSAs, and our savings. And if you are slightly more savvy or you've maybe even pursued other options or learn about other options, you probably have a stock portfolio or other mutual fund portfolio or maybe life insurance policies that you've invested into. I want to use my air quotes very, very carefully. I will admit that it's almost sarcastically. At the same time, I really want to make sure that over time, everybody understands that I believe that all these tools are still good tools. It's just not one size fits all. I believe in module one, I already discussed this. So many of us opt in on all these one size fits all investment options, and turns out it's actually not very good. It's not relevant to us. It doesn't create the results that we're looking for, both short term and the long term. So why do we do it? Simply because we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what other options are out there, first of all. Second of all, we don't understand exactly how to evaluate performing assets. And number three, even when we kind of know how to evaluate performing assets, how does that fit into our financial goals, financial plans, and our overall wheel of wealth in this particular case? And so I really want to make sure that everybody understands that the journey you're about to embark on with Trust Your Talent Academy here is looking to complete your wheel of wealth as much as we possibly can. And if you look at this, we're calling it a wheel for a reason. Most of us have earned income. Some of us have earned and portfolio income. And what are we missing for most people? The passive and the residual side. And no wonder when you put this wheel on the road, it doesn't actually run smoothly. And so we want to make sure that every skill set and every piece of knowledge that you're going to be gaining from TYT is going to help you round out and expand your wheel of wealth over time. With that said, this is the end of module 3, and I would like to encourage you once again to share what is your one big takeaway from this module. And more importantly, as I said, action always speaks louder than words. What is the one action that you will take now? And last but not least, a bonus question for you. I would like you, using the Wheel of Wealth right now, attach a dollar amount of how much you'd like to make in the next 12 months in every single income bucket. So for many, many of you, even if you've got started, you might have zero in your passive income bucket still. And some of you might have a little bit more in one bucket than the others. Doesn't really matter. Attach a dollar amount of how much you would like to make, or that number to be, between now and 12 months from now. So we can start to set some milestones and goalposts for yourself. Thank you for joining me once again. I will see you at the next module.